Okay, so we're here in Tasmania at Ashgrove Cheese. So we just spent a bit of time up on the farm looking at some cows, but tell us a little bit of the history of this farm and the operation. When did it start? How big is it?
Yeah, Ashgrove Farms was formed in 1985, a partnership between my father and my uncle, who were dairy, beef and mixed cropping farmers. We then realised in the late 80s, early 90s there was no future in bulk commodities, so we actually built our own cheese factory back in the late 80s, early 90s, and first started making cheese in 1991.
And you've been a leader in this issue around animal welfare, certainly here in Tasmania, but probably in Australia actually. And again, do you see others following? Is there an interest in it?
What we've got to do as dairy farmers is learn from other industries. And if you look at the debates that have been had in the egg and the chicken industry, the sow stores and the pork, or the mulesing and the sheep, not one of those industries has won that debate in the public opinion. Where we have to as dairy farmers is we have to lead the world on the animal welfare and justify what we do to the animals. And if they're practices that we did in the 80s that you'd hide from your own wife, it's not going to wash in today's public social media thing. So, you know, we're proudly here, we don't dehorn cows, we don't tail dock, we don't induce, and we don't force the cows to overproduce more than what they naturally can. So we think we've got a really sustainable system of production, and we're quite proud of it.
The business, the cheese side of the business has grown enormously over that period of time. We were hearing before, just in terms of the number of people you have, tourists who come through the shop is just pretty extraordinary. Yeah. What's the plans? I mean, do you worry about getting to a point where you can't keep the good stuff about Ashgrove together because you're a family business?
Yeah, our biggest challenge over the last few years has been how we transition from being a small family business to a large professional corporate business. We have plans all the way through in place to try and develop that. Doesn't mean we don't have big family issues or the odd argument as we go through, but if we keep it fairly professional and right, and as we transfer from being a family business to what I call a business, we've had to employ really key staff in areas where we now have, production managers, we have CPA accountants, we have people out on the road, we have a Australia-wide salesman who travels a bit internationally. We have all these different roles, we have marketing people and that are not necessarily family members anymore. So it's about taking those people and our community along with the journey, and so we really try and employ people that are as passionate as us about the business.
But one of the other things that I was really impressed actually, and sincerely when we were talking out there, you were talking about the fact that farmers don't always make great people managers. Because when you're in a small family farm, but in your transition, that's one of your roles, and your family's role is to how do we manage those other people, right?
We now have 16 people working out on farms. We have 3 farm managers on our 4 dairy farms. We have a person that looks after our young stock, as well as all just the normal day-to-day employees that work across all the enterprises. In the factory we have up to 100 people. So we even have a HR manager now, which I find ironic. So all those roles have evolved. So what you have to be honest with is the skills that you're good at and what you're passionate with. And if you're not good at those, or at least honest with yourself, go and find someone who is.
Great, that's a great way of thinking. And just to finish up, I assume you must be also conscious of the impact you have on the local community. You're a big employer in this part of the world.
We're in regional Australia, regional Tasmania, and in an area particularly where there's no really employment opportunities for a lot of people. When we first started this business and went on the journey, some 25, 30 years ago, we have some staff that have worked with us in the factory from that day dot. So we're quite proud of the local community, and we hope they're proud of us too.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, and I'm sure they're really hopeful and inspired about the future as well. And we're really pleased to be a small part of the Ashgrove family, because it's our role to actually help businesses like you grow and finance that growth and development.
We've my grandfather banked with the ANZ, my father's, and now Richard and myself, we bank with the ANZ. Doesn't mean we haven't had some hard discussions along the way, and at times when things haven't gone so well, and we've had a couple of big disasters over our career, that the bank stuck with us, and we've stuck with the bank.
Well, that's great, and we look forward to the future. So thanks very much. Great,
Cheers.
thank you.
No worries.
That's good.